a 10-year-old special needs young man that has a shunt in his neck. He did not come to school on February 6th to be pushed and disrespected and manhandled by someone who he's supposed to trust, which is a teacher. Then, to our surprise, this has not been the only abuse. It has happened since January, and this is unacceptable. Don't nobody send their children to school to get abused. Don't nobody send their children to school to get beat up. And then, to add insult to injury, you have 3 other teachers that were right in that vicinity when that happened and witnessed this, and nobody did not report and nobody said anything. So we, the new Black Panther Nation, we demand for this teacher to be charged and in jail. We demand those 3 other teachers that watch this poor baby suffer the way that he did to be terminated. We protect our children. We all stand in solidarity with this family, and we let them know that we have their back. So we're going to bring out some information. I would like to bring Sam Smith because we've already started processes. So this process is the grievance process, and I will let him tell you about that. Mr. Sam Smith?
Good afternoon. My name is Sam Smith. On March 5th, 2024, I had started the grievance process. I had filed the grievance. I received the email this morning saying they received the grievance. So the school district have up to 7 days to schedule the level 1 hearing. Because of spring break, the hearing will be after spring break. And so I'm still waiting on getting more information. And when I get more information, I'll let Dr. Matthews know. Thank you.
And once we get that information, I'm going to ensure that I have you guys get that so we can make sure that we have our eyes on the entire process of what's happening at this point right now. Okay, Mr. Eugene Howard?
Great afternoon, people. Although we're here on an egregious situation and occasion, the number one thing that must be understood is every child deserves to have an environment that fosters growth, safety, and security. This is unfortunately something that's happened to this young man and this family. It is so egregious, it makes us wonder how often does this happen, not only at this campus, but throughout the district. We know education in this state is ground zero for culture and political war. I'm imploring the administration, the school board, and the superintendent not to fall into political diasporas, but fall into the moral diaspora of what is right. Because every child deserves to be the treasure that they are. They are our future, and we demand action. This is the first step. If we do not see the action that we're demanding, we will come back with an army, not to persecute, not to attack, but to let you understand that we as a community are saying no, our kids matter, and they will always matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I would like to bring up the chair for the Houston chapter of the Morehouse Alumni Association, Slade Leonidas.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're not here because something great happened within the school district. We're here because something unfortunate happened, something that angers me as a father. This child is a special needs child. I understand that the teacher was he wasn't the permanent teacher that was there. Every student deserves teachers that are trained, that knows what they're doing. If a child has special needs, that person needs to have the proper training for those particular instances. We hold our schools to a high accountability. These kids, this child was 10 years old. He can't defend himself. He doesn't know how to properly understand his emotions. So we expect our adults and our teachers to properly aid these kids and train them properly. They come to school for education. The parents leave them to the care of these teachers and the school. So we demand that this teacher be arrested charges are being filed on this teacher. The 3 teachers that was there that saw it, that did not say anything, they're accomplices as well. When you see wrong, you're supposed to act. When you see injustice, you're supposed to act. We're supposed to be there as a beacon of light and instruction for our children. We're going to stand here on beside of the family to make sure that they get what the justice that they deserve. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, now I would like to bring the family attorney by the name of Jimmy Brown, and then he's going to discuss what are the next steps and what is happening at this point, at this junction.
But no one's actually explained to us what happened. Can somebody just go?
Okay, I can do that. Matter of fact, can we do? Okay, I'll do it now. Okay, so what has actually happened was that I received a call from mom. Okay, when I received that call on last week, this incident happened on February the 6th. When this incident happened on February the 6th, her son will go through pullouts because of his IEP. Okay, and so when this teacher pulled him out, and they were in the library, and so the son just kept tapping his pencil, okay? The teacher got frustrated, and the teacher violently pushed this child. Now, this is a child that has a shunt in his neck and had surgery since at the age of 3 years old. This is also a child that is special needs and has a speech impairment. So you do not violently push a child where he bumped his head actually on a chair. And this is a child that has this type of condition. Okay, just think if he would have hit this chair a different way, it would have been a problem. Then it was 3 other teachers that were inside when this was happening, and they did not report or say anything. Now, mind you, in what the school was supposed to have done, when this teacher did this, why is this teacher still has access to children? This teacher was not fired immediately. Okay, this teacher was not even removed pending an investigation. This teacher was still in the driveway having access to kids. So again, we don't send our children to school for them not to be protected, because it is our job as a community.
That's right.
It is the job as the school that you protect the unprotected.
That's right.
And they failed to do so with this school district. This is why they finna face some legalities behind it. Okay, now let's bring Attorney Brown up, and then after he finishes, then we'll answer questions so I can have mom and dad to answer whatever else that they need to answer. Okay, Attorney Brown.
Thank you. My name is Jimmy Brown. I represent the parents, Mr. Doral. And I want to stress the facts. First, the child was definitely pushed. The child definitely went to the floor, and the child's head definitely hit a chair. There's no question about that. If you look at the video, you will see the child stand up. The sole impetus for the assault was that the child was tapping his pencil on the table. That's it. With regard to matters, there was a Detective Ibarra who initially allegedly conducted an investigation. I do not know whether you have seen the video. If you do, his statement was he saw nothing. Based off that statement alone, I did file a grievance level 1 against Detective Ibarra that was filed yesterday. In addition to that, you see the grievance that the parents have filed to address this issue. The school has of yet not received the notice letter, nor has the teacher received the notice letter concerning the claim that will be filed. I am hoping that they will see the better light of reason and attempt to resolve this matter. I know that the school will rely on the immunities that they have and say that, well, we're not responsible for the actions of our teacher. We're not responsible for a brick falling on a child, on a school or a property we don't maintain. We're simply not responsible. There are some defenses that they have, but the reality is improper discipline, which is what this teacher, in fact, implemented, is improper, and it will subject him to certainly civil liability. It should have subjected him to criminal liability. I would ask, honestly, that the parents really don't want to communicate at this point, and I don't want to give an impromptu deposition at this point.
Okay, well, to be fair, we came out here to impose some hearing from the parents. So if we could ask maybe just how they've been impacted by it.
That will be fair.
Is that okay?
Thank
Okay.
I'll be up here with you.
Yeah, come on. We up here with y'all.
Ever since it happened,
Can you step forward a little bit? Yeah.
well, ever since it happened, the only thing keep playing in my mind is the principal and the assistant principal. Like, they tried to go with a narrative and wanted us to believe that it didn't happen, and they didn't acknowledge what we seen on the video. So it kind of bothers me, like, and I try to stress to the principal, is if y'all watch this video on the first day it happened, and y'all didn't react to it, and y'all still had him around other kids, it's about my son, but it's about other kids too, because if somebody was to hit the man, he would hit him back, most likely. But I just hate the fact that they didn't really acknowledge what happened on the video, and they try to get me to not to believe with what I'm seeing. Like, that's not right. Y'all supposed to be protecting our children. As a principal, you're supposed to hold your teachers accountable, and she didn't. So that's the only problem I really had about the situation, because you're not holding this man accountable, and you left this man on this campus. Like, I have recordings of this woman. I had to leave out the meeting that I had with her because she kept on defending, and not acknowledging the problem. So that's my only concern. Like, it's not right. At the end of the day, it's not right.
What's your name, sir?
Desmond Durrell.
Can you spell that for us?
DESMOND DURAL.
And you're the father of the little
That's
boy?
Durrell.
So he was, that day, he was in class, he was pulled out of class?
Yes.
That day he was in class. He got put out of class for, they call it tutorials, rather they say it is.
I'm sorry, do you mind repeating? He got pulled out of class?
He got put out of class and they said it was for tutorials,
Okay.
which I had no knowledge he was even going and pulling out for tutorial. I had knowledge of he get pulled out for his certain amount of minutes a week for IEP plan. My son was tapping a pencil. The teacher asked him to stop. Said, you better stop tapping that pencil, boy. He didn't stop. He said, you want to get pushed out the chair? My son said no, and that's when you proceed to push my child out the chair.
And that teacher is, what kind of teacher is he?
A long-term substitute teacher.
Long-term, so was he the main teacher in the class that day, or was he just with the?
He was just with those two kids.
That is correct.
So there were like two sped kids with him that day?
Yes.
Or?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
How's your son doing?
He's doing fine. He just
But
don't
he
want to be back here. Like, he's cried not to come to school. He cried not to come here every day. He's terrified. He's sleeping at night, but on and off, getting up at the night, middle of the night. Mom, I'm going to school tomorrow. Like, my child shouldn't have to be worried about coming somewhere where he's supposed to be learning at.
You could have easily handled this off camera. Could have done
Could
it a
have.
different way, but you decided to do it this way. Why?
Because when they so said did the investigation, the Cypher ISD police that did the investigation called me and told me he was not pressing criminal charges because he don't see a push.
So, I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am?
My name is Sharaslyn.
Spell your first last name for us?
TREROSILYNCARSTON.
And then, you guys have filed a grievance. You filed a police report with Cypher
The police,
ISD police or hospital?
a police report was supposed to have been generated by Detective Ibarra. I have not seen that report. Yesterday, like I stated, I filed a level 1 grievance against Detective Ibarra. That was sent to Chief Mendez. And so he has it.
And this is for Cypher ISD police?
That is correct.
So it's two grievances that has been filed. You have the grievance that was filed with Cypher Police. Then you have one filed on the school district because on the behalf of the parents of what happened to the child.
So your son is not coming to school right now? Or?
He's coming to school. He don't want to come to school.
And what did the school initially tell? When did you guys find out about it? Did you find out about that day? Or?
The incident happened on February 6th, roughly around 8:45. I didn't get a call till that day about 3:40, 3:45.
What did they say happened?
They said that they had an incident where Destin said a teacher pushed him, that they had to look at videos and they was going to follow up with me. Instead of waiting to call back, of course, we was here the next morning before school was opened for doors to be here for the students. And we waited for a while. She came out and she showed us a brief video. But we didn't see my child fall the chair with this video. We just seen the man push him. We didn't see him fall or anything. But we know that my child said he saw the video. So you showed us a clip the following day, but the day it happened, you put my son in the office and showed him all the clips. So why when the parents get there the next day was only showing one clip and was told, oh, I have to finish investigate. You already finished investigate because you watched the video with my child.
So you had to force them to show you everything.
Right.
Correct.
And she showed the kids all the angles. So when we come, we was only showed one angle. So why was it a problem to? It wasn't a problem to show them, but it was a problem to show us. What was the reason? That was our concern, and that's why we kind of felt like, you're not giving us everything. You know what I'm saying? Any other parent would be concerned about the same thing too.
And so I'll just end with this, is that we're going to put a spotlight on any form of corruption or anything that is egregious that is being done to our children. You are not going to discount children being abused. You are not going to be dismissive that children are being abused. You are not going to try to brainwash our parents like they didn't see what they seen. Like nothing happened. No, something happened, and somebody's going to be held accountable. And we are definitely going to drop the hammer of accountability on this school district. So they might as well get ready, because I will not stop.
What is the status of the teacher, did you say?
Okay, so with the teacher, when they found out that I didn't got involved, all of a sudden now the teacher is no longer working. That teacher should have been gone right when the incident happened. Then another thing that I found that was quite disturbing is that if this happened around 8-something that morning, why is mom and dad notified at the end of the school day? So it's like they whole processes that they have that's going on here at the school behind us is unacceptable. And they need to be put on spotlight for it.
That's right.
What's the teacher's name?
We don't, and that's another thing.
They won't release that.
They're not releasing the name at this time.
She said she think his name is. How do you think?
Attorney Brown is going to be taking care of that. So once that gets out, we'll definitely make sure that you all know about it, because everything is in motion. So that is the purpose why we wanted to do this press conference, because when we found out about this information on last week, now we want to let you know that it's going to be legal proceedings that's going to be involved. Grievances has been filed, and so it's a process of what's happening. And I want this to be a process that you all continue to follow, because we have to keep a spotlight on what's going on, because clearly they're showing that they are not above reproach and they are not transparent at the school behind us.
Right. Ultimately, what we want is accountability. The school system should follow their processes and protocols, proper training for our teachers, even if they're substitutes. We understand that sometimes kids can annoy you. They can get under your skin, but that's where the training comes in, the maturity of being the adult in the room to make sure that that child has a good example in front of him, and to help them process emotionally what they're feeling, especially a special needs child. So yet alone normal kids that, are more advanced, or, in their maturation, they're at another level than this special needs child. So even more so patience, and to adhere to the training that they should have had to help this child out, to get them to learn whatever it is that was before them. That's what we want.
On a cursory note, I did make it a point to look at the manuals that they have with regard to both conduct, discipline, guidance for the teachers. They don't even have any provision for corporal punishment. So there would have been nothing that would have authorized placing a hand. Short of acting in self-defense of a child, there would have been nothing that would have authorized any degree of physical punishment. So that allegation by the child alone should have warranted the immediate removal of the teacher. Immediate. And for the detective to say, I don't find anything, when you have a credible statement made by the child, documented and endorsed by the video, and the teacher still has no, to my knowledge, pending criminal charges, unacceptable.
What is the next step? I know you said a grievance was filed. They have 7 days to respond, is that right?
It's 10 days.
10 days.
And that's the next step?
Yes, that's the next step at this time, and then of course it has to be a written response, within the 10-day time frame. And then of course, like I said, Attorney Brown has his legal processes.
There will be a notice of claim sent to the teacher and a notice of claim sent to the school district.
Okay, and I will leave it at this. Sci-Fi ISD, y'all gonna keep your hand off our kids because we're not playing. Okay,
right.
We're not gonna sit up here and be rah-rah in front of your school and you thinking that it's not gonna be no processes. Processes are already in motion, and I'm not playing. And whoever else that's involved with this, I'm coming after your job. And if not, criminal charges is going to happen because you would not. Exactly. So, are there any other questions?
Just one last question.
Sure.
You said the teacher's no longer here. Is he still employed working at other schools?
No, they told Channel 2 that the teacher was no longer employed on last week. But I find that very convenient when you found out that Dr. Matthews knew about what you've done. Okay? So are there any other questions? All right, and I will keep you guys informed with this process because we definitely need to continue to shine the light on this. Thank you.